listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Now we can talk like people.
It's just muttering Fee Wable. It's a name, isn't it?
It's a name.
Look, I'm not falling out over the tubes.
No.
Frank,
Yeah.
I want to, if it's okay with you, I'd like to return briefly to last week's show. You were talking about how you'd received, I'm not sure what it was called. Was it a DME?
What is that?
No, I can't remember what
When
it was
I was
called.
a child, I think I had a DME.
No, ODE. It was the Order of
yes.
the Domino's Empire.
Yes, it
right,
was.
yeah.
Yes, it was an award for services to something like football, oblique music,
Right.
Yeah.
and
It was essentially a free pizza prize, wasn't it?
it was a pizza side drink for a year.
I've long maintained that the tastiest pizza in the world is free pizza. That's delicious.
That does not surprise me, sir.
But what I liked about Frank telling... Sorry, Frank.
Can I say that I won't have a pizza that doesn't have anchovies on it?
Won't you? Oh, well, that's limited your options.
That's plain
No, but
bizarro.
I find that
It's not
you
that
can.
plain.
I have said to people, I'd like the American hot, but is there a way you could put a few anchovies on, and often they will.
I'll do it. Good for you.
A little tip there. See?
It's almost as if you're quite perverse or something.
Oh,
Well, let's not go into that on Breakfast
Yeah.
Radio.
No, but Frank, Domino's,
Oh, yeah.
which you said, I've had an email from Domino Pizza, like it was an old mafia friend of yours. A gentleman has got in touch with us.
Oh,
His
yeah.
name is Paul McManus. He says, Dear Frank, Emily and Le Coq Asthmatique,
Okay.
oh, I see.
which is a moniker I'm in favour of.
That's a reference to a character that Alun
Yeah.
played in
Always and Everyone.
Always and
Granada television series.
A&E. It was like a pun
A&E,
thing
yeah,
on
yeah.
A&E.
Always and Everyone,
Yes.
which was not how long it lasted or who it was watched by.
Oh,
Good point.
ouch.
I only did one episode, so I
and
don't have
your
anything
character
invested
was?
in it. Jason the Asthmatic.
Excellent.
I mean, I love that. It's like Conan the Barbarian.
A bit.
Well, I say a bit like it. It's a breathy version.
Well, I like it. My mother would always be parts which would start woman in. So it was angry
Oh,
woman
yes.
in shop, furious official.
Man in marquee,
Yeah.
Wilfred Hyde White, that kind of thing.
Anyway,
Can I say, by the way, there's nothing funny whatsoever about asthma, blah, blah, blah.
no,
Carry on.
exactly. I enjoyed Frank's tale last week of receiving an email entitled "Congratulations" and his dashed expectation.
Yes,
to convey some exciting news.
just a quick
but that's actually not to do with Domino's, I should say.
Just a quick repeat that I got, I wanted to use the jingle. Congratulations, Cliff Richard. Actually, this week, could
Oh,
there
yeah.
be a more fitting jingle than
Yeah.
this?
Congratulations and jubilations.
There might still be more damages to come. So, yes, I think they actually played it
Not number one
outside
for
they
nothing.
played it outside the courtroom. They did.
They didn't.
No, I
They
read that
never.
they played it. His fans played it. Do you remember when Michael
Wow.
Jackson's fans released the doves for every verdict that
I-
was
Frank,
that
I
went
don't
with
wish to
him?
be unkind, but I'd like to think that maybe Cliff's fans maybe had like a proper old-fashioned tape recorder they were holding from
Ghetto
the 80s.
blaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what have we got here? Oh, yeah, anyway. Paul McManus has said...
So I didn't finish the story.
Sorry.
So I said to Daisy, my producer, could you get me that jingle for the show? Not for this week, and not in anticipation of the court verdict. Congratulations about something else, can't remember what it was. And she, 2 days later, sent me an email that was entitled Congratulations, and I thought, I've won some sort of award again.
Well, Paul says, my name is Paul, and one day my boss sent an email to everyone in our department with the title Paul Day. I was very excited, anticipating a whole day of celebrating me, my achievements, and everything I stand for. I thought maybe a boat trip down the Thames, free drinks, speeches about what a great
Maybe,
guy I am for Paul Day.
Can I just stop? They have on Channel 5, they have cricket. And that you can often win a day at a test match or something like that, and it'll say, and you get to stay in this lovely hotel, which never looks very nice.
Yeah.
And then and a 3-course meal, it says, and a glass of champagne. You think, wow, glass of champagne. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so
I think keep that.
yeah. So he's also saying, frankly, I thought Paul Day a little overdue, but no. It turned out the email was to inform us that our new head of division was to be a bloke called Paul Day.
Oh.
P.S. I saw the space shuttle fly over Coventry. P.S. Emily, the best battered sausages are in my local chip shop in Richmond.
That's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah.
I mean, we've all fell for that one. Oh, yeah, that's Savoy.
I'll be there.
Savoy-based ambush.
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Quite a few whatever happened to's.
Oh.
Good
Did
morning.
we finish that story, whatever it was?
Paul Day?
Yeah, Paul Day.
Yes, he suggested that I go to Richmond for the battered Savoy. Do you
Oh,
recall?
yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's going to be sad when I show up for it instead.
Well, I don't never know. The modern age.
Some people would consider that an upgrade.
True.
Whatever happened to,
Yeah.
this is from Bill from Aberdeenshire. Good morning, gang. Whatever happened to the TV detector van? When did they disappear? I mean, they're still there, I presume.
Isn't that a
But
myth?
I don't think. Well, I
did they
think
ever exist?
I always thought it was 3 blokes playing cards in the inside, because it was like even the way the antennae moved on the adverts looked like there was a bloke inside just turning it around. I don't think it did exist. I think they just do what they do now. If you got a license, you haven't got a license, they turn up at your house and assume everyone's got a telly.
Okay.
No, I think it's. If there's anyone in it who worked,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
a technician from a detector
In the
van,
lab coat.
yeah, I just.
that would be
That's
good
where
to
you
know.
need Donal McIntyre. Can you imagine him? Secret footage of him in the back of an empty van, saying, "And look, and the whole theory of the scanner tracking down TV waves completely bogus." Can you imagine? We was talking about him this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Donal
Explain
McIntyre.
it.
He used to do exposés
He was
television.
a 90s investigative journalist.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah,
Can't it
I
have
think it
been?
was 90s / Well, he did, and then he did Donal McIntyre Investigates the Fashion Industry.
What
did he find out, Frank?
Well, the thing was that Donal McIntyre was a man who did enormous exposés about stuff to reveal stuff that everyone already knew. So he did stuff with football fans, and so these guys, I've discovered that they are racist and violent. Oh, really?
He discovered that they got tattoos, I remember.
And then in the fashion industry, many of these models are on cocaine. Donal, you don't say. And then Emily said to me in shock that he did dancing. What's it called?
Dancing on ice?
He did
Yeah.
Dancing on Ice, yeah.
And then he went to the papers and that ice is absolutely freezing. So yeah, and we have a thing on this show called The Big Moment, where people tell you things that everyone knows as if it's a massive revelation. He's the high priest of that. Oh man.
Oh, Donal. Frank, would you like another quick whatever happened to?
Yes.
Whatever happened to Cloud Cuckoo Land?
Oh, that's something you don't know. Well, I like to think I do dwell there.
Okay.
Yeah, people used to say that, didn't they?
Yeah.
You're living in Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard it for a while.
Maybe we just all are, and now it doesn't
Yeah, more
need
people are now.
referencing.
Yeah, in those
It was
days.
the
There was a stark contrast in those days from how I lived.
Yeah.
It was the sort of thing people would say along with, well, that's your hard cheddar. It was those sort of people.
Oh, tough cheddar, I
Yeah.
used to
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Oh, did you? We had hard cheddar in
Oh,
London.
we had hard cheese.
Oh,
in Yorkshire.
isn't that lovely? All different across the regions.
But in the old days, when poor people were properly poor and didn't have a telly in every room,
You sound so angry about that.
yes, when I was
When you
There's money.
When you
Yeah.
used to use belts as dog leads.
We didn't have dog leads. What are you talking about?
String.
No,
Just
but
let
a
'em
friend
out
of yours used a belt as a
I
dog
know, but
lead.
that was an
yeah.
emergency. You wanted to take him out. Yeah, we just let them out the door, and they came back 3 days later with their hair sort of raised and looking. You know what I mean? They come back looking feral. But they had some nights, those dogs. Okay, they didn't eat, but they had fun. They probably ate each other. That's how we kept the numbers down in those days. We didn't put it on the taxpayer. Oh, I'm going to love getting older.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I've found a whatever happened to a WHT in the Friday night trawl. Hi Frank, DME and Alun. Just thinking, whatever happened to that noise your radio or speakers used to make just before a text message came into your mobile phone?
Yeah.
I can't spell it, but we'll try. Bub-de-dub, bub-de-dub, bub-de-dub. You know,
Yeah,
bub-de-dub,
you're right.
bub-de-dub.
You used to get it on microphones sometimes as well if you're doing like a voiceover or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
Suddenly
yeah.
go ba-doo.
Then, strangely, your phone would receive the text. It doesn't happen anymore. Hashtag who knows, hashtag praise withheld.
I don't know what happened to that. That's a technical question. It's a very good point.
It's a mystery.
Maybe one of our boffins.
I don't miss it.
No,
Well,
I
maybe
don't.
one of our boffins in lab coats here could
Oh, yeah.
find the answer.
Like when you were going online, you used to get that.
We'll get our people on it, John.
The modem.
Yeah.
Oh, dial-up.
Oh yeah, I miss those sounds.
We've also had correspondence in from a telecommunications engineer,
We haven't.
Oh.
104. I'm a telecommunications engineer. He
Ed.
goes on,
Yeah.
in fairness.
It didn't get cut off.
TV detecting is impossible off an aerial cable.
There you go.
Okay? Well,
Yeah.
I'm giving him an
I
accent
think
here.
you're giving the wrong accent. I'm a TV communication. It's Donal.
Oh, is it?
Donal from the van.
Whatever. And he's also said, whatever happened to sweatbands?
Oh,
All the
they're
rage in the
back, are they?
80s.
Well, I didn't
going.
watch Wimbledon this year because there was another big
No one
sporting
did.
event on. But doesn't Rafa still wear sweatband?
Oh,
Oh, does he? Okay.
8, 12, 15.
Well, if he wears them, it's all right by me.
Yeah, well, he was a big,
You know what I mean?
big sweatband guy, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that thing that Luka Modric wears, which is just like an elastic band around his
Oh, like a
head.
bootleg.
And
Oh,
you
I've-
think
I've
a
got
bloke could, with his career, could have get something, a scrunchie at the very absolute minimum.
Throw a bit of money at the problem, Luke.
A scrunchie in the colour of the
Scrunchy, a
team.
nice sort of Alice band or something.
Probably get a branded one if he speaks to the makers of his boots, couldn't he?
Oh,
If
could he
thought
would
about
be
it.
allowed to wear one though?
I'll
I
check,
don't know if
I'll
you can
check
wear
the
a
laws
branded.
and get back to you next
I've
week.
really gone off him anyway.
Modric.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I
why
didn't
is
like what he said about us. He was a bit rude about us. Yeah.
No, I thought he had a point though, because he said that the
Oh, here we go.
He said the England pundits disrespected Croatia by saying how tired they'd be, and that's a fact, isn't it? Nobody ever responds well to being called tired, do they? There's nobody.
Yeah.
Like if I say, "Oh, you look tired today, Emily," you're just going to hate me for a bit, aren't you? So
Well,
it's perfectly.
You know what I say when people say that to me? If they say, "Oh, you look really tired," I say, "No, it's pretty much just my face now. I'm
Quite right too.
old. Sorry."
I can't imagine anyone ever says that to you, Emily.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to say. I'm old.
Well, there's a thing in Doctor Who series
4 was
Two.
it? Oh, 2,
Oh,
yeah.
I think too.
Yeah.
When the Prime Minister does a bad thing and blows up some aliens, which were leaving, they were exiting. There was no need to blow them
that's
up.
a shame. Sounds vindictive.
And in revenge, the 10th Doctor says to her, he goes up to one of her aides and says, the Prime Minister's looking a bit tired. And then the next thing you know, she's been replaced. That's all you need to do.
yeah.
So it's a potent force. So Luke is right to nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said also.
That's why he doesn't wear the scrunchie, maybe. It looks like a wrinkled brow. It's all making sense. Sorry.
Before you defend him too strongly, I think he also inferred that we were being arrogant because we said it was coming home. I think he was one of those bad people.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Gone off him now?
He's vermin.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I was going to ask how your week had been, but before we do, it's just popped in and I've seen an email that I like the look of because it's entitled Eggs. It says, I was just complaining to my wife that the boiled egg she was eating was too hard. Now, I've got a couple of problems there already.
Yeah, mind your own
Yeah,
business.
exactly. Why are you complaining? She said in her defence...
She not took the shell off.
She said in her defence that it has to be hard to fill you up. I think this is more of her nonsense. What do you think?
I like her.
For a start,
It's interesting.
I like them both.
Totally
oddly.
agree. Totally agree with
But
her.
soup never fills me up.
Because it's a liquid, it's a drink, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe there's something in that.
No, hard-boiled egg. She's absolutely right.
I don't think it fills you up more than
I think it does.
another egg.
It sits in your stomach more. It forms.
I suppose.
I mean, there's no science behind this particularly. It's
Not yet.
Well,
but
we don't
8, 12,
know that.
15
We get a lot of
any
scientists.
egg
listen to this.
scientists, please get in touch.
There's a whole lab coat section to our listeners, I always
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
because we get lots of people who get in touch and say quite complicated things.
Yeah, that we totally understand, yeah.
Well, we sort of, they often, they drip feed us facts, which I like.
Frank, I've been dying to ask you this morning. Look, are you still number one?
Well, have I got news for you? Write that down.
Have I got extra
Not a
news for
bad
you?
title.
What have you?
Here we
What?
go.
Congratulations and jubilations.
You may remember that in going to number one for the fourth time with the same lineup, we broke a record last week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, how often do you break a record in life? A proper official record that's in, the Guinness Book of Hit Singles
Yeah.
type thing? Never is the answer you're after, mate. Anyway, but this week...
Extraordinary.
Congratulations and jubilations.
We have broken the record. Me, David Baddiel, and the Lightning Seeds have broken the record for the biggest ever drop from number one. Well, honestly, I'm not making this up. We have dropped and what about this for a coincidence? We have dropped a record-breaking 96 places.
96.
Wow.
Come on.
I know, 96. So in 1 week, we've gone from 1 to 97. I mean, that's big time.
Are you just as pleased by
big time.
breaking this record as the previous
You
one?
know what? I think I am. When I heard about it, I just thought that is because we knocked George Ezra off number one, and he went down to number 2. Whereas I mean, it's absolutely, it's like being Steve Brookstein. And if you remember him early,
I do remember Steve.
early X Factor winner.
Yeah.
It is like that though. It's like when you're a mega 1 week and the next week you are nothing. We're in the top 100. Let's not knock it.
96 places.
96 places.
Come on.
That is, people just didn't say, I don't like it as much as they hate. They went
Yeah.
from loving it to
Yeah.
despite. Well, I don't know about that, but it just stopped. Sales stopped. It's almost as if it was tied to the performance of the England football team in some way.
Yeah, in a way, they owe you.
Oh, so
Do you ever
yeah.
meet any of those at an event?
It's like the perfect ending to the whole adventure.
Yeah.
I think the whole memes
I-
thing and all that. And then we end with a fabulous record-breaking swoop into the depths.
Treat those two imposters just the same. Frank.
Truly, we Icarus-like did fly too close to the sun.
Beth has claimed that she's not an egg scientist, but she's always felt 2 boiled eggs fill her up more than 2 scrambled eggs. I'm glad to have some
Definitely.
reassurance that I'm not the only one with this theory.
I thought for a moment she was going to say that 2 hard-boiled eggs filled her up more than 1 hard-boiled egg. And I thought that is really science. That it's very...
Donald McIntyre investigates eggs.
Yeah. There's a yellow bit in the middle if you keep going.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
One reason that, and there aren't many, that I'm glad that the three-line singers died down a bit again, is that Baz really got into it, my 6-year-old, and was... I was actually at the point where I was on the train with him and he was singing Three Lions.
That's a bit embarrassing.
And it is, but
Yeah.
worst of all, he was saying the bit that you sing. How does it go? Everyone, what is it? Everyone, and I was in a toilet, so he was at one urinal and I was at the next, and I was saying everyone seems to know the score, and he said everyone. I was going everyone. I realised there was a bloke in there, and it was like I was really pummeling the lyrics into this child. Oh, like some terrible indoctrination. He asked me.
I've told you, Jules Rimet.
Oh. Did you watch the final though?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I was a bit.
The final.
I was slightly, I was slightly appalled that the closing ceremony was on Red Button.
Oh.
Yeah, Gary Lineker said, and if anyone's interested, because they were talking about football,
All right.
so obviously assume that we'd prefer that, and they said if you're interested in the closing ceremony, you can get it on the Red Button, and I thought, whoa, it's the closing ceremony. Red Button. I don't know, but Red Button to me is a bit like invited to the evening do, but not to the ceremony and the reception.
Yeah.
In which case, don't go.
Also,
Yeah,
when I'm
that's my
thinking of
advice to
Russia,
you.
I don't want to think about the red button. That worries me.
Oh, lovely, Al. Come on.
I was shocked by that, though.
What about, did you see Vlad and the umbrella gate?
Oh, God, that was
Didn't see
great.
that.
Well, Frank, will you care to explain
Well,
what
but when they
happened?
presented the World Cup, they
downpour
They
was
said there was
meant.
major delays, so it took ages to get the trophy. In the old days, you won it. You went up one of John Motson's best ever bits of commentary was Man United won it, and the captain was Martin Buchan. And he said, and Martin Buchan will climb the 39 steps up to receive, which is a John Buchan wrote the 39 steps. I mean, it was, I don't know how many people got it, but I thought, wow. And he had checked that it was, someone had told him, he was asking things, and they said, there's 39 steps up to the thing, and he thought, hold it, Buchan, I bet he couldn't wait to get it out there.
You don't get that these days.
No,
Your
you
Buchan
couldn't. You wouldn't even
references.
try it now. We used in those days. We'd raise them up. We wouldn't go down there with them. But anyway,
Yeah,
Yes.
so it took forever.
and
then the
it
heavens
started
opened.
raining. If they'd done it straight away, and when I say it rained, it rained.
Was it bucketing down?
It was
Good
it was 4
old-fashioned-
weddings and a funeral I hadn't noticed type rain.
Oh,
I've
right.
never seen 4 weddings.
That was good.
Oh my God, what's
Hashtag
wrong with
late
you?
review.
Yeah, it's one of
I've
not
never
even that
seen
review.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I've never seen 4 weddings and a funeral.
Okay.
Well, I think
Anyway,
it's
go
good.
on, as you were.
So
Worth a look.
it started raining on all these dignitaries and everyone who was there.
Macron.
The female president of Croatia was in a
Yep.
lovely Croatian outfit and stuff.
right.
Yeah, white trousers.
And it rained really heavily, and one person appeared with an umbrella and held it over Putin, and everyone else was getting drenched. Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was someone who absolutely knew where to put the umbrella. There was no
Yeah.
hesitation.
Great.
But it was great. Even he got wet in the end. The umbrella wasn't enough. And
I loved the
they
chaos
just got
of the rain.
drenched.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
It's
watched
worth a
the
look for
game.
that.
No opening ceremony, no closing ceremony. I was in
Well,
and
to
out.
me, that was the closing ceremony.
Yeah.
Was watching people. The manager of France, who'd already had champagne, Miss Marcel Duchamp,
Yeah.
he literally looked like that suit would he just have to throw away after. I mean,
Well, he'd have been all right as the water carrier.
Can I
sure.
say, Macron looked great in the rain, though.
Did he?
mackerel.
Very expensive hair.
Yeah,
President
they do.
Macron.
They do.
Well, he just looked phenomenal.
No, 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 no.
Duchamp looked like he'd arrived by sewer. It was a great way to end the World Cup. There was some
Yeah.
massive. It's like an Ibiza type shower party type
Oh,
feel to
excellent.
it.
That sounds
Don't know if you've
good.
ever been to one of those.
Yeah, it's
Sarah?
all the time.
Do they even exist?
Oh, the phone
No, the
parties.
phone
They must have to. They must have to rinse after the phone parties. They don't go
maybe.
home like that, do they?
A bit like being in a massive car wash for a party.
People
at the same
walking
time.
home looking
can I
like
say-
snowmen.
A phone party is the definition of absolute scenes. That's
Oh,
what that
yeah.
phrase was invented for.
Was
I
it?
bet
Oh,
you.
thank, I've got a frog in my throat. Oh.
I
That
bet
is
you there
awful.
are people that live in Ibiza, and that's how they keep clean. They go to phone parties.
Yeah.
I bet you that's it. They think, well,
Why wouldn't you?
why do I want to buy gel and stuff? I just go
If
to
I lived in Australia, I'd just keep clean by surfing. I wouldn't bother with other stuff.
Mhm.
Wouldn't everyone do that?
Well, I mean, Marcel Deschamps that night, did he think, I'll have a shower before I get to bed? No need. Yeah. What a day he had. Free shower, World Cup.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can 8-12-15 us on text.
I love it.
Oh, I've made a mistake.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be trendy and young. I liked it.
Yeah, I was trying to be Yoda. On 8-12-15, you can text us. On @Frank on the radio. You can on Twitter. Follow her on Twitter. Oh, it's gone so wrong. 8-12-15, text us. Follow us on @Frank on the radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I should have rehearsed this. I've only said it 8 million times.
8, 12, 15 million.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like using 8, 12, 15 as a sort of verb.
Yeah.
8, 12, 15 it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, I think that's good. Yeah, it took us a while to work that out. How long have we been doing this show? By the way, have we had any correcciones?
No, but we've had a bit of gossip.
Can I do my own correction
Oh,
first
yeah.
of all?
Frank,
yeah,
can I just
true
say
that.
you've really got away with that one.
I am.
Yeah.
This is. Can I say I feel the audience has somewhat let us down. But anyway, I'm going to do my own for the first time ever. I'm going to do auto correccione.
Yeah.
Auto correccione. Auto.
Oh, look.
I spent the whole thing talking about the rain in the World Cup final, calling the French manager, who is Didier Duchamp, Marcel Duchamp,
Oh.
and no one corrected it. Come
What
on,
a
guys!
mistake to make her, as they
Yeah.
say in Italy.
Can I
believe.
say
That's very
though?
frank, can I just say, to rebuke everyone for not.
Yeah.
It's like when he told that joke incorrectly and everyone laughed, and he
Why
said,
didn't you all tell me off?
"Yeah,
That sort
I
of
got
stuff.
it wrong."
Yeah,
He's angry because we didn't correct him.
Yeah.
no, because I'll be honest with you. If you're going to make a mistake, the fact that you accidentally used the name of an avant-garde artist,
Well,
I
fine.
mean, that's the kind of mistake you're after, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Lift them up to us. Don't go down there all the time. So that's my motto.
Yeah.
We were talking, I don't know, we got onto it now. We were talking about David Bellamy, who is still alive, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's what we never get on the news. They
They never do that.
They wait, it's too late.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I
Still
don't-
alive this week.
I don't like leaving things to the last minute. I think Still Alive this week would be a good regular feature.
Yeah, I
That would
really
be
do.
nice.
Yeah. So Still Alive and 85. Still Alive and 85.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good if we had a track by him. That'd be a good way to end it.
Obviously, there'd be some sadness for podcasters
Maybe.
listening a year later.
Well, yeah.
Let's just keep doing 85-year-olds. Still alive in 85.
That's-
Come on, it's a
that
great
sounds
Well,
way
what about
forward.
I might find a 95.
Still alive in 95.
do-
Producer's writing it down.
Got an
Or maybe
idea.
she's texting
I've
it.
got
a
an
great
idea.
idea.
The British actor Michael Medwin, I think, might have been 95. this
Oh, I've
week.
worked with him, dear.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Well, in case you don't know, by the way, David Bellamy was he was a naturalist. Well, he still
Not-
is,
not a
it turns
naturist,
out.
can
Let's
we
not
just
put
say.
him in past tense. Still alive at 85. He's a naturalist. The thing is, I have a clear memory of his death being announced. I don't know what that
Do
is.
you?
Perhaps he's...
Listen.
yeah, but perhaps he's...
The whole point of Still Alive in 85
Yeah.
is that they've got to be alive.
He might be like
Yeah.
those trees. Maybe he dies and then comes back again in the spring. He's so into the
Deciduous.
naturalism. Yeah, that's the word I was after. Thank you so much.
Oh.
He was a real celeb, though. Bigger than Attenborough. I mean, this was back in the
Really?
days.
Bigger, I suppose popular-wise.
Attenborough was still very much an office-based... Oh, no, he just launched that book, but, he was running areas of the BBC at that point.
And the great thing about Bellamy, he didn't film animals getting killed by other animals that he could have saved with a warning shout.
Not that we know.
He had a catchphrase as well.
If he did, he didn't
What was his
broadcast it.
catchprise?
He's really rummaging around.
Yeah, because he was one of those people.
All that lovely soil. All that lovely soil.
And this
David
was the
Bellamy.
thing everybody could do, David Bellamy. Who is the current? As if you put David Bellamy in the impression everyone can do chair,
Yeah.
which is what he was, everyone would say, well, here we are in this wonderful undergrowth. And everybody
That's
would
right.
do it.
Really
Who is it
rummaging
now?
around.
Who is the modern person who everyone can do an impression of?
Danny Dyer is up there.
I'd say in a fragmented media world, it's very difficult to have one person that everybody can impersonate. Because not everyone's watching the same programmes. Like some people are really into Netflix and some people are into terrestrial television.
Who's this character?
I don't know who
like
this
him.
is. I like it.
No, is
I
that-
might date
I
him.
thought that was an impression of someone that everybody could
No,
do.
they
I was
were
really
my-
racking my brain.
They were my
Yeah.
own thoughts in a silly voice.
Yeah.
When I rack my brains, do I stretch them as
Yeah.
in on into
Oh,
a
the
torture,
medieval-
or do I put them into like when you rack the balls at snooker? Do I
Yeah.
put my
Yeah.
brain into that triangle as if it's pointing forward, trying to think of the right thing?
Oh, good question.
Frank, I reckon
Well, that's a very complicated idea. Okay. But anyway, if you're listening, well done on still being alive.
Yeah.
Mexi had a lot of fresh air.
Who?
Yes,
Bellamy.
Bellamy.
So what's he up? Did you say he was...
I'll tell you what he's up to. Really rummaging around in the
Yes, really
undergrowth.
rummaging around somewhere.
There'll be someone listening who
knows what he's up to.
who lives in his road, or if he lives in a road, I imagine he lives in a box
He'll be on
somewhere
a
in a
country
field.
lane.
Yeah, camps. I bet he camps a lot.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh, I can't do the impression in a camp. Why? Those days are gone. Those days are gone, kids.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Now, 444 did spot.
Oh, sorry, I
your
thought you were
error.
doing a very aristocratic laugh.
No, that's my latest suitor surname.
Oh, okay.
Frank, I spotted the Marcel Duchamp error,
Ah, yes.
but I thought it was churlish to pick you up on it.
Oh, it's easy to say that after, isn't it?
But since you've now invited error recognition,
Yes, always.
I thought I ought to point out that it's Deschamps, not Duchamp.
Oh, you mean the French manager is Deschamps
Yeah.
and Marcel is Duchamp?
Exactly.
I got it wrong on both counts. Well done. See, that's good. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is an observation that hasn't just been made by that individual.
Oh.
I just want it also
Oh.
207 Grant in Edinburgh. Not only is Frank miscalled Didier Deschamps as Marcel, but he's still pronouncing his surname Duchamp when it is in fact Deschamps. À bientôt. What does that mean?
À bientôt. See you
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, is it à bientôt? Oh, he's
okay.
coming. He's coming here.
It's coming home.
Seems unnecessary.
That's their version of it's coming home. À bientôt.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I did. I missed the target, which is ironic as Marcel Duchamp's major work was a urinal.
Okay.
Good point.
We'll have a little Google
Good
of that one.
point.
106, Frank. Back in the 70s, everyone, my whole family, had an impression repertoire of Frank Spencer,
Oh, yeah.
David Bellamy, and Dame Edna.
Oh, Dame Edna. Oh, okay.
Remember that one? But we've also got...
Basically involves saying, okay,
But what about this
pass on
thing?
a lot.
But who are they now? Who do people
Okay.
do now?
Yeah.
697. Frank Butcher was a great example of a voice that everybody could do.
Mm-hmm.
Wallop. Yes, but who now? Who does
That's a good
everyone do
question.
now?
As I say, there's a
It'll be
fragmented
someone-
media landscape. It's very
Yeah.
difficult.
It'll be someone like Bruno Mars, and I won't even know they're doing it.
I can't do Bruno Mars.
If Bruno Mars did Bruno Mars, I wouldn't know. If Bruno Mars came in here now carrying, I don't know, some toilet cleaner,
Yeah.
I'd say a toilet dock and some toilet rolls, as if he was worked here, I wouldn't think, wow, that's Bruno Mars. God bless him.
Me neither. I'd think they're in the wrong room. Put them in the bathroom, mate. We don't need toilet cleaner in here.
Exactly.
I wouldn't think it's Bruno Mars.
You do it, Marzo.
Mars.
658 has pointed out on Tiswalls, which is, this sounds a bit borderline, this phrase, but this was a children's programme.
Ollie, could you say that sugar down the toilet pan? You could say Mars, you pan. Rob, that was rubbish. Don't correct me on that. Sorry.
Bellamy's catchphrase was "grapple me great nuts," which was on a kids' TV programme.
No, but wasn't that Lenny Henry doing Bellamy?
Oh, yeah.
It was Bellamy by way of Henry, sure.
Yes, I think Henry added that. Bellamy, I think, wouldn't have said that. Someone's pointed out that it sounds a bit like Jonathan Ross, but I'm
Yeah.
you need to sound like you've got more in your mouth. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do that WR's thing without sounding a little bit like Jonathan, I suppose.
And can I just say, Jenny worked with David Bellamy, and I was lucky enough for my school class to be chosen to do a BBC TV show in the 80s with Mr. Bellamy. I remember him being the kindest, most lovely man ever, and I'm so happy that he is
85 and still alive.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Speaking of impressions,
Yeah.
do you know in Samantha's nightclub, I think it was in Birmingham, I won a John
I don't
Wayne.
think I ever went there.
John Wayne impression competition. You have to get up on stage and do an impression of John Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. Come on.
And mine was sort of, well, you have to talk like that, or a sort of slow draw, Pilgrim. And everything has to be kind of forced out. So it was all right.
It's not bad.
The other two blokes, one of them, we had to get up on stage and do it. So I got that, got a good round of applause. Next bloke got up and just shouted Birmingham City, Kings of Europe. And the
As
third,
anyone?
and the
Which they
third
factually
bloke,
weren't at that point.
No,
I'm confident
no.
in saying.
and it wasn't exactly a Nostradamus moment either on that. It's still on the coming
Yeah.
up. And then the other bloke just got up and took his trousers down and showed his bare bottom.
You see, that's my kind of guy.
But
And that's
whatever
the-
you think of my John Wayne, it was better. It was more like it. Than,
That's the competition you
I've
faced.
seen. I bet you I've seen. Oh,
Well, I
let's
don't
not
want to
go-
finish that sentence
let's not
after
go-
you've said
let's
whatever
not-
you think of my John Wayne.
let's not go into over egging it. Over 40 anyway. John Wayne films, and I've never heard him shout Birmingham City, Kings of Europe
No.
in any. I mean, it might be one
he
of those early shorts that he did.
Did he ever pull his chaps down?
The hell he did.
So we've had a lovely message about David Bellamy.
Oh, yes.
454, Professor Bellamy.
Oh yeah.
A minor correczione there.
Probo.
More of,
Probe.
yeah,
Probel.
more of a point of order.
Probel, I quite like.
Yeah, okay. You happy with that? I studied botany in the early 80s. What a great guy. His lectures were a joy to attend, often went way off script, but no one cared.
Good.
Yeah,
That's nice. Isn't
I
it?
like that.
I hope he's still working.
I want
Yeah.
to know if they all did impressions of him after the lectures. Did the lights just go off and on?
No, no.
Was it
What
seance?
happened was an aeroplane flew over, and
Is that right?
yeah, and I'm not kidding. All the sun just blocked out on that side.
Okay.
I'm serious. I was
I'm not
watching
certain
it.
it makes
Okay.
great radio.
No,
That's all.
no,
yeah,
That's
no,
what I liked.
I
It's my
think
fault.
it was.
started
It proves it's live.
It
Yeah.
is live.
does it
Unless you're
prove-
listening
how
on
does
the
it prove
podcast
that?
later.
How does it prove that?
Good point.
People,
You know, because there's only that aeroplane that goes over on Saturday mornings. I can't think of another one.
I mean, if we'd planned it, we might not have kept this in. I
Planned
suppose,
it.
is
That'd be the day. Can I? You know, we were talking about artists, and we've had botanists, and we've had a telecommunications engineer, and we've
Yeah.
talked about another science thing.
Yeah.
Did I say artists? I meant scientists.
Okay.
Oh, I've had a very mistake-ridden morning.
Yeah.
What with Didier and Marcel and Duchamp and Deschamps. Anyway,
All my French exchanges.
Emily Dean,
Oh, yeah.
you may know, has a very popular podcast in which she, which is called
Walking the Dog.
Walkie Talkies is what I
Yeah,
say.
he likes
It's been
walkie-talkies,
called,
yeah.
But Walking the Dog, in which she speaks to different celebrities and
Yeah.
whilst taking a dog for a walk.
Yeah.
And I did it. Check it out. Still
Yeah.
out there.
Heard
Yeah.
it, enjoyed it.
And thanks.
Strong
and
work, guys. Strong work.
and Emily bought me a bottle of non-alcoholic.
Rosé? Champagne?
Yeah, sort of
is it?
pink champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say there's booze in it.
No,
Oh,
so
good.
so I had it the other. I had half of it the other night, and
Lovely.
In one go.
half of it in one go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just glug, glug, glug.
And
Can
then.
I just say I'm feeling sick at this
Yeah, I feel a
point?
bit
But I
tense.
couldn't. No, I couldn't find the cork. You know, I fired the cork out and it bounced around the kitchen. Quite exciting.
Yeah.
Quite
Formula
exciting.
One winner.
Oh, it was. It was a bit like Didier Marcel Duchamp.
Water
Yeah.
carrier.
Yeah, the water carrier, except I was with champagne. And I fired it out. Oh, it was like the competition on 5 Live Cricket. Not 5 Live, Channel 5. Shut up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I fired it out. So when I'd had the drinks out of it, it was lovely, can I say. Thank
Was it
you so
nice?
much. Oh, beautiful.
Can I just say not just the one bottle?
No, well, I said one box. I don't know what you get your other guests.
Oh,
I
that's
was
a
trying to
point.
cover your back.
Oh, I got him 6.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, if they get a
Too
souvenir
much.
key ring, they might be a bit miffed that I got 6 bottles of non-alcoholic.
David Baddiel got a few cat treats.
But I got it. I remembered Sandy Mason told me. This is my open inverted commas, mother-in-law close inverted
Yeah.
commas, and that if you put a fizzy drink and you can't find the cork, and this is stuff she does a lot because she drinks prosecco, is her
Right, yeah.
Tipple.
is her tipple of choice. She said just put a spoon in the top of the bottle.
Oh,
and I thought, now
yes.
that's got to be rubbish. So I
Right.
did it 2 nights ago. Last night,
And?
I thought, I'll see, it'll be all right flat. I thought, you know.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I took the spoon out the top, poured it out, fizzy.
Amazing, isn't it?
How on earth? How on earth does that happen?
Do you know what? That's my kind of science.
Yeah.
Love it.
And do you actually want an answer, 8, 12, 15?
I want a simple answer, please.
Yeah,
I don't want an
yeah.
answer that's going to just set a
I think they
little,
would know
like a
that.
tiny trail of blood from my left ear. I don't want one of those answers.
Can I say very briefly, I think Peter Vernon has come up with 2 current impressions. What should we call them? Well, they're impressions that everyone can do.
Well,
So-
can we hold this because
Yeah,
the Fez
we
is
hold
getting
it.
hot at my side.
Oh.
I'll explain that to new readers later. But I'm intrigued by this because I
Okay.
would love to know. This is we've 12, 15'd it really.
Yeah.
I feel we've all lost touch. We live in cloud cuckoo land and ivory towers. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't think I know who people on the street impressions are. Who people are doing in the pub. I don't know. It's not David Bellamy and Frank Spencer
got
anymore. It
two
can't be.
It's not Alan Hansen.
Let's hold it because I am keen to find out who is in the people's impression chair.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Al, you've watched then some of the Jane Fonda workout. Have you really?
So, yeah.
I've
And,
watched-
and you're. Would you say you were a Yorkshireman?
Not really, no. But I present as a Yorkshireman, to use a medical term.
Okay. Do you identify as a Yorkshireman?
No,
You're born in Yorkshire, aren't you?
no, born in Glasgow.
Okay. Lived in Yorkshire?
Yeah, I grew up in Yorkshire.
going on?
But I don't think I'm a Yorkshireman.
Well, I have a Yorkshire joke about Jane Fonda. I thought I
Oh,
could
okay, go
marry
on.
2 sides. Do you remember it?
Do you wanna-
It's
do you
not
wanna
my,
do it?
It's not my joke. You might
Oh.
know it.
You have to
I
be
might-
from
I might
Yorkshire to
not.
hear it, though.
Go on, then let's
It's
have a
an,
go.
it's an old joke. It came out at the time when Jane Fonda was big for doing these VHS.
In the 80s,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, before she pointed, after she
Okay,
pointed
okay.
Viet Cong heavy
Okay.
artillery to American planes.
Okay. Let's
I
do the
bet-
joke, yeah?
It's a good
I
reference.
bet Mad Lizzie
People
never
have
did that. Or the
Okay.
Green Goddess. So anyway,
Oh, that's
Good
Susanna
point.
Reid.
All the 80s fitness stars.
Am I the radio Susanna
the
Reid?
story was, and I say many of you will have heard this before, but it just reminded me of it, the Jane Fonda thing.
Go on.
And she was doing a outdoor aerobics session in somewhere in Yorkshire. What's a good Yorkshire place?
Harrogate? No, that's Leeds.
Guiseley.
Geisley?
She was in
lovely.
Guiseley.
Guiseley.
And so she was shouting out all the instructions at the front, and she said, right, hands on thighs. And this woman said, but we'll be able to see now.
That's all right. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
I don't think you have to be a Yorkshireman
No,
to get it.
I quite like it.
It's not like playing cricket for
Frank-
them. I think you can just get it.
I loved your
gone
joke. I
now.
loved your
Was it?
joke. But can we get on
It
to?
wasn't my joke.
Oh, okay.
It was
All right,
it was a
darling.
joke from the great
The
pool
joke.
of communal jokes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about impressions that
Oh, yes.
most people can currently do? Okay, you
Okay.
did a bit of a shout out. Peter Vernon has been in touch.
I was going to say I can't do him.
Not at all.
Wow.
Do you want to hear his
Yeah.
suggestions? Len Goodman,
Oh.
7.
Oh yes,
Seven?
that's that one
Yeah, that's
number.
good.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's good.
And
I
then-
interviewed Len Goodman and I said I thought he was the only person I could think of whose catchphrase was a number.
Yeah.
I can't think
Well,
of
I
any.
would say it's quite an achievement. He's responsible for transforming the identity of the word 7.
Yes.
Because very few people say that without saying.
Oh yeah, 7. Yeah,
I would say
he's-
him and number Johnny 5 from the robot thing. Remember the robot film? Short Circuit.
oh yeah. Well, so what
When he
did
said
he
number
shout?
Johnny 5.
Yeah, but he had
It's
words
not
in
7.
it as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Len,
Well, the word was number. It's hardly.
Len was a purist.
And he also cites.
I mean, he would have
Bian-
killed that Brad Pitt film if it had been popular before that. Go on, carry on.
Who else have we
He
got?
also cites Bianca from EastEnders saying.
Ricky!
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
So
but is
maybe-
that modern?
No.
Well, maybe we're only capable of the one-word impression.
I know,
now.
but
Maybe.
Ricky, that's got to be 30 years ago.
Yeah. I don't even think people
Peter
get
Vernon
that
might
now.
be
Even
85 and still alive.
Even Len Goodman isn't still on Strictly.
Peter, are you
point.
85 and still alive?
I don't think he will be.
I'm going to go 55. Okay.
I'm going to say he's 51.
How old do you think Peter Vernon is?
63. 63.
What about if we had a text in based on how old Peter Vernon is? Oh,
Let's do it.
man, that would be. We'd finally. Our scorched earth policy has finally reached its zenith.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
366 has texted, I'll give it 5 and a question mark. Do you think
Yes.
that's a guess at...
No.
I know what that is.
He's talking about, or she is talking
Yeah.
about people who have numbers as catchphrases,
Oh.
Yeah.
and that was
Jukebox Jury, I believe it was called.
And her name, she was from Birmingham. 'Cause
Yeah.
she said, I'll give it 5.
Yeah.
And was she called Janice Nichols?
Very good, Frank. I think it might be.
I thought it was a guess at Peter Vernon's age.
Nah.
No, but we
if-
do have a guess at Peter Vernon's
No
age.
way.
Oh, go on.
Well, it's not really a guess.
I hope it's not from...
I think it's someone that knows it.
I'll be disappointed if it's from Len Goodman, because he won't be anywhere
No.
near, will he?
Emily says, I was at primary school with a Peter Vernon.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know if it's the same one.
Could be.
So I'm going for 45.
Okay.
Okay.
he could-
Still alive at 45?
He could be at the older or the younger end of the school year from her.
No, but
Okay.
she's got info there. She doesn't have to give us the full. She's not going to send in a photocopy of the register.
I should say at
Fair
this
enough.
point, I hold in my hand a piece of paper from...
Have you been speaking to the German Chancellor Hitler?
Almost. I was communicating with Peter Vernon,
Oh,
who
yeah.
has confirmed his actual age.
So what are we saying?
Can I just say the producer gasped? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine if she worked on the X Factor.
I said 51.
Did
I
you?
think.
What did I say? 60-something. I've
Go
forgotten
on.
already.
Come on, what we want. It's all right. Do one now.
Let's go 63. I thought I'd guessed already in the
Okay,
last link.
I went 55.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Do you want to know the answer now? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to eke it out into some suspense?
This is all I got. Mr. B.
I
Mr.
say, it's not exactly Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is it? Suspense management. Have you won £1 million? How old is Peter Vernon? I mean, if you put those on the scales of suspense. Go on.
We need the Benedictine monks singing. Peter Vernon.
Hold it.
Come on now.
What is this?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, yeah.
What's the one that goes da-da-da-da? Oh, that's countdown.
Ooh.
So I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
You do it.
Okay.
Peter Vernon is da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ooh.
I was born in 65 and still alive,
Oh.
making
Oh,
him...
no, I didn't know we'd have to do math. We got to do math.
Add-in.
That makes him
It makes
53,
54?
55, 53.
Doesn't say the month, so...
Let's say he's 53.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is that I'm out. I got it wrong.
I must say, he looks
Deborah Meaden.
he looks well for 53.
He does.
So do you win, don't you? You're 2 off and I was...
Yeah.
Oh, I was 2 off, though.
Well, it depends when his birthday is. So actually, the tension is rising.
Oh, wow, because we're homing
on.
in. We're both 2 years in. But so if he's in the first half of the year, I win. And if he's in the second half of 65, then you win.
I'm going to go and sing a chorus of Luck Be a Lady tonight.
Oh, man. Peter Vernon has turned... It's like... I think since the penalty shootout against Colombia, I can't remember this feeling.
It's exciting.
What a feeling! Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh man,
What month poet Peter Vernon was born in?
but really, we're getting to the month. But if it's June, July, we might have to get the day. If it's the 30th of June, we'll have to get the time. Oh man!
I mean, there's nothing stopping us doing this to a listener every week. Think of the fun we could have.
Well, I think only falling numbers on the radio is the only thing.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio Reb. Does he say Reb site if he says radio?
He didn't have websites in his day.
Oh, no, that's true. Absolute Radio website.
Okay.
710 has just texted Frank saying, "Hi Frank and Emily and Alan. Surely the ultimate number catchphrase is the darts fella hailing 180.
Yeah, that is a number catchphrase.
He then adds in brackets or any other number between 1 and 180.
Well, sometimes if they have he had a different tone, because that's obviously celebratory. 180, but sometimes if they have a bad one,
How does he do
he
that?
whispers it.
Oh.
25.
Yeah. And that text
Which
was
is
from
funny,
John.
'cause I find the tone reverses as you get older when you're announcing your age. The higher it gets, the more you whisper it.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking of which...
Yeah, 28. 50.
So...
Who invented that thing of doing the football results? So there's there's a different tune for a home victory and away victory and a draw.
Yeah.
West Bromwich Albion 3, Leeds United 0. You just know. You don't need to listen to the end.
It's the rise and fall.
What I'd like to do is, the next time I watch the football results, if they say West Bromwich Albion 3, I'm going to shout spoilers straight away before they've given the other score.
Yeah. They're telling us too much with their tone.
Too much.
Tone alerts. We've had news in from Peter Vernon. Would you like to explain who he is in case anyone's just tuning in now?
We're
Frank?
guessing.
Mystery figure, isn't he, of
This
sorts?
week's competition is guess Peter Vernon's
It's a
age.
competition.
Peter
There are
Vernon.
no prizes.
He just texted us randomly. I can't even remember what he texted us about now.
I can't remember.
But
David Bellamy?
for some reason, I don't know. We got into what his age might be, and we've had guesses. Alan's fallen out of it, but I guessed 51, and
55, I guess.
and you guessed 55, and we've worked out he was born in 1965, so it depends when if he's in the first half, then I win, the lower end, and if he's in the second half, then Emily wins. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold on, here we go.
I can't keep the country on the edge of their seats any longer. My birthday is in June.
Oh, so I win.
So to save Frank having to work it out, I'm 53. Well, do you win? If his birthday's on June the 30th, my friend, you don't win.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't I?
Oh, no.
Still the first 6 months, surely.
Okay. You
Huge
win.
inquiry.
Yeah.
Can we go to VAR, please?
Well, that won't help, in my
Okay,
experience.
I'm gonna let you have this.
I think if it's in the first 6 months, surely I win.
Okay, fine.
I can only say,
Congratulations.
I won the court case. I wish you'd bring that out with a song about winning the court case. I had a group of journalists standing by my window and all that. It'd be brilliant. Why shouldn't he celebrate?
Yeah.
Why not,
Can I say, by the way, that this idea of guessing someone's age every week, which obviously we're not going to do
Yeah,
because we
I'm
would
not
lose.
sure I want to keep that one going.
No, because we'd lose millions. But
You'd lose me.
we did have. You probably forgot. Even the people on the show, I think, will have forgotten that we had an idea about 4 weeks ago for a regular weekly quiz thing, and I got Daisy, the producer, to make a jingle for it, and I haven't even heard the jingle myself. And this is what we thought we were going to do every week, right? Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo, oh, Cristiano Ronaldo, oh, Cristiano Ronaldo. You ain't seen nothing yet. And it was Cristiano Ronaldo, in which every week there is a question about Cristiano Ronaldo. We never even did it once, I don't think. When we did it, that must have did that
It's a
first
lovely
week.
jingle, though.
But
We did
never
it
came.
yeah.
It is a lovely jingle. I feel
done.
it's wasted.
Well, I have got a Cristiano
Where
Ronaldo.
did the "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet" come from?
Oh, the man singing that?
No, why did I do that at the end? Is that me at the end?
Ronald Reagan.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, because his
Oh,
name's
well done, because he's named after Ronald
Ronaldo.
I was
Reagan.
named after Ronald Reagan.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good, Dave.
very good.
Wow.
Do you know, I've got a Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
yeah.
I've always got one in my
No,
head.
not the Cristiano Ronaldo. That's something I'm afraid we cannot discuss.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Somebody knows someone who got Legionella at a firm party in
Is that the
Ibiza.
female version of
think it is, yeah.
Legionnaire's disease?
Yeah,
Well, I wonder how that differs.
or maybe it's just a Spanish version.
How does it
It's
differ?
good because-
Takes hours to get ready.
No, maybe it's a bit. Hi. So it's like salmonella and Legionnaire's disease in a fabulous
Hybrid.
When you say fabulous,
fabulous
right.
pandemic cocktail.
Yeah.
Wonder
We've also
if you put a spoon in the top.
we've got some breaking science news, actually,
Oh yeah.
on exactly that. You were discussing earlier that a teaspoon in the top of a bottle
Well, actually, I used a dessert
fizzy.
spoon
Oh, did you?
because it's a big drink.
I'm not sure
Rosé,
that.
pink champagne.
I'm not sure that should have worked according to my science.
Oh.
Your lab coat friends.
050 has texted, the handle of the teaspoon concentrates colder air over the top of the liquid, thus retaining the bubbles in the liquid.
Okay.
Do you feel better for that?
So I could put
Do we feel
any
enriched?
cold thing in there, theoretically.
I think so. 952
An
has texted,
icicle,
it's all to do with the shape of the bottle, which isn't as comprehensive.
It was a Crazy Cocktails bottle, one of those that got an angle. And there used to be a thing when I was a kid, my sister used to have a thing called Crazy Cocktails. And it was a bottle that was sort of bent in the middle, and the label was made with a tear in it, as if someone had bent the
Oh,
bottle.
that's good.
Wow.
Do you know, I love the sound of that.
Yeah, I wonder
that
why
sounds
that
great.
faded. Those
Yeah.
drinks from yesteryear. Cherry B.
Cherry brandy, yeah. No, we're getting some, impressions from the 70s, but I want my currents.
I want to know who people. Me and David Baddiel did a pilot many years ago. Our flight was delayed. We got talking to him. We had a few drinks. No, we did a pilot.
Or her.
We got or her. Well, it's worse if it's her. I don't like if it's her.
She
mean-
took hours to get ready as well.
Yeah. I didn't.
Oh.
And
Tell me a funny story.
And now I've lost my thread. What was
You
I
and
talking
David
Pilots.
Baddiel did a pilot
Was
for a
it an
TV
impressions
show, can
show?
we just say?
Did
Okay.
people-
Was it an impressions show? That's my guess.
Do people on text or Twitter say I've lost my thread?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
So we did a thing called I think it was called First Impressions.
Right.
Was it you two doing impressions?
No.
Because this I want to
David.
see.
No, this was interesting. David was in mogul mode, so he wasn't in it. he was like behind the scenes mastermind for the show.
Right.
I was the smiley front man, shiny floor front man. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, that
I
sounds...
came on to music. I think I sang at the beginning in a series of impressions.
Oh,
Frank,
nice.
can we establish briefly at this point, David does admit he's incapable of doing impressions.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't doing.
No, I know.
I
He
think
was
I
a
only.
sort of a Svengali
I only,
figure.
he was a Svengali.
Yeah.
He did a Svengali impression, which is less popular.
Did he do a Simon Cowell? Was he like, well, look.
Well, it was interesting to have someone
Yeah.
working behind the scenes who knew what they were talking about.
Oh.
So anyway,
I like that.
so the idea is that everyone can do one impression, at least everybody.
Yeah.
So I went out and vox popped people and said, can you do an impression? And they all did Frank Spencer and all
Yeah.
that. But we're talking, it's probably been 20 years ago, that show.
Right.
And if I went out into the street now and went up to some millennial people, which is what age group is that?
Millennial is up to, I would say, 35.
Okay, let's say if I went into some people in their 20s
Yeah.
and said,
Gen
right,
Z.
do an impression. Who are they going to do? That's what I want to know.
The
8,
GC.
12, 15. I'm going to 8, 12, 15 it.
We've had a Stacey Solomon as sent in.
Is that a
Manda
staple?
this?
No, she is. I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, she's... isn't she the one who's on Big Brother?
She's originally on Big Brother. Frank, would you care to do an impression?
She's got all an house, so I don't really... I
X-Factor.
can't really do.
X-Factor people are
Gen Z
saying.
and Millennial were going, X Factor.
It's great when you do impressions of people that no one's heard of. Like I
Yeah.
did Johnny Ray.
Stacey
on,
Solomon talk like that. That was
Oh,
my
yeah.
first go at it.
I did Johnny
Sorry.
Ray on Stars in the Rise. And no, I'm sure no one in the audience, or hardly anyone knew who he was. He was like a 50s heartthrob.
Yeah, it's
Right.
quite specialist interest
It's
there.
a great impression
Yeah,
as well, but it's...
Do you want to do it now for the people?
do?
Putting you on the spot there? Vic?
Just walking in the rain, getting soaking wet. One for Didier Deschamps. Yeah,
I think that's my favourite.
Anyway.
Johnny Ray.
yeah, it's a great Johnny Ray.
It's the best I've ever heard on commercial radio on a Saturday morning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Johnny Ray, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, is the guy used to... He wore a deaf aid, but when he was on stage, he wore an extra big one so they could see it in the cheap seats because he thought he got quite a lot of audience sympathy.
Nice.
Frank, is he mentioning a Dexy's Midnight Runner song?
Poor old Johnny Ray.
That's what I
No.
know him for. Oh.
He honestly is.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
554 has texted, the spoon in the bottle thing has been scientifically tested. The spoon has no effect. Leaving the bottle open was found to keep the liquid more fizzy than either the spoon method or reclosing the bottle.
Leaving it open makes it fizzier than reclosing the bottle. What you talking about, Willis?
I just don't understand science. That's what
No.
we're...
Well, you know who we
Science.
need on board here is someone who was also a favoured impression in the 70s. Do you know who I'm talking about, Willis?
Patrick Moore.
Is it?
No.
No.
I
Is
think he's
it
going to know. I think...
Professor Dr. Julius Pike or something
Oh,
like that?
really, Frank?
Magnus Pike.
Yes.
Magnus Pike,
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations, well done.
Wow.
That was
In case
well-
you're guessing, yes, he was a fish. But
Yeah.
people were more accepting in those times. You
Yeah.
young people, you think you've cornered the market on diversity, but we had actual creatures running
Yeah.
TV shows. Animal Hospital.
Yeah.
That meant people went in and were operated on by... I saw an Alsatian take somebody's gallbladder out. The scalpel and that was just sellotaped to their paws. It was absolutely...
To be fair,
I cried.
that was Blondie.
Scenes, wasn't it? Scenes.
Blondie was trained.
Those are the days.
489, I consider myself the David Bowie of the one impression world, having constantly evolved with the times. Evolved, I should say. Where once I had only one Ian McCaskill in my repertoire, then Joe Swash, I'm currently staying out of the limelight until I identify the next figure with which to surf the impressional zeitgeist.
Yeah.
So that suggests that he or she also can't find a current figure.
Well, we've had suggestions from our resident young person,
Yeah.
our young person correspondent, Sarah.
The youth offensive.
And Sarah suggested Danny Dyer
Yeah.
and Alan Carr.
Okay.
surprised by that. I mean, a few people have texted about Donald Trump being the current guy, but I don't know many people doing good impressions of Trump.
We should talk about Donald Trump, actually, because he did a fabulous
What's he been up to?
Trump thing.
Like when I was on that bus and somebody in front of me Googled Donald Trump. You think they're still doing that every now and again?
Did I tell you I was on a train the other week?
Putin.
There was a guy sitting with his laptop and headphones in, watching this thing very, very intently. And I'd been watching it for like a couple of hours. And I thought, before I get off this train, I've got to know what he's looking with such... he was just absolutely focused, very stern-faced. And when I looked, it was Seinfeld.
Oh?
I thought it was going to be like a documentary about the Vietnam War. I thought if anybody ever watches anything by me on public transport with a face like that...
Yeah, it's not a great review, is it?
That's the end for me.
Yeah.
It was like he was really studying science. Yeah, what a scandal.
Crumpelstiltskin.
Yes.
He keeps those moments coming, to be fair.
Yeah,
He's good on the material
He is
front.
the gift that keeps on giving.
It does seem to affect the news cycle a lot, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let me get this right.
Yeah,
Not
go
always
on
for
then.
the best.
He misspoke.
Yeah, he misspoke.
That's the phrase he used when he was speaking properly. I don't think he was misspeaking when he said misspoke. I think he meant that bit.
Do you? Well, that's in direct contravention of what he said. Are you calling the President of the United States a liar?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, when he said I
Fake
misspoke,
news.
I think that's what he meant. Like next week he might come out and say, when I said I misspoke, I meant to say spoke.
What I liked...
It is a handy technique.
Very useful.
I'm so there now. This is all I'm ever
great,
using.
isn't it?
Yeah, when I said it's coming home, I meant the golden boot.
When...
Actually, can I stop you there? I became slightly obsessed with the golden boot. In case you're not into football, the person who scores the most goal in a tournament gets the golden boot. That's what they...
So they get... Because Gary Lineker got one of those.
Yeah, he got one, and Harry Kane just got it for England. What size would you say it is?
Who? What, the golden boot?
Yeah.
Let's ask Gary.
That'd be...
You'll know.
What about an 8, 12, 15? What?
I don't think it's either of those.
What size is the golden...
I think it'll be a 10.
Sven-Goran Eriksson, size 4.
So... What size is the golden boot? Is it a left or a right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right. I think it's a right boot.
Does anyone... Would there be anything against Harry Kane wearing the golden boot this season on one of his feet?
Yeah.
They might put him at a disadvantage having a metal boot
Is
on.
it metal, though,
Also,
or
is
is
it
a
filled
spray
in?
It's a little
boot?
statue.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, isn't it filled in? The
Yeah, I
boot?
think it's filled in.
Is it?
Could you place a
Obviously,
foot
I
inside
haven't
it?
seen one since 1986.
I mean, yeah, I think you seem to think it's some old boots with a bit of spray
I
paint
thought it was
on
a
it.
sprayed boot, is it not?
No, it's a lovely metal.
I like the idea that he could win it the next one and say, I've already got a right one.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, he misspoke, but we should talk about him misspeaking in a minute.
Okay.
When I come back and say, no, what I meant is that we shouldn't talk about it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, we were talking about POTUS.
Yeah. So, did you see the him actually apologising?
Well,
it was
first
a
of all, we should say he was
Yeah.
in Helsinki, and someone asked him because he'd spoken to Putin, and after he was asked if he felt that the Russians had intervened in the American election,
Yeah.
and he said,
He said, I don't see why they would.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I don't see any reason, why they would.
Yeah.
And then a bit later he had
And
to come
people
out
said
and say,
that's really bad because the FBI have established that they did. And so you are siding with Russia against the American intelligence services.
yeah.
And so he then, he said, I got back. He said, I thought, I don't understand this. What's all the fuss about?
He said, what's going on? What's the big deal? Which I liked.
And then he realised, he said, I thought it would have been obvious, should have been obvious. So it still wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
He said, I misspoke.
Yeah.
Obviously, what I meant to say, why? What was it? I don't
see why they wouldn't.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a kind of a double negative.
Yeah.
Sort of a double negative. I liked it as well when he talked about that, Mike. He said, so I got a transcript. I actually went out and viewed it.
Yeah, he said
Oh,
that.
what, in the Chinese takeaway? Did you
Brilliant.
not have a telly?
Yeah, exactly.
I went out and viewed it.
Love it. He meant on VAR. He had it
Yeah.
on VAR. He
I'd
just ran
like to
over
have
to a little
seen
screen and looked
him
at
walking
himself
over
saying
and
it.
watching it back and going,
Just a load of guys in the office in full ref kits.
Yeah.
so he meant to say,
Wouldn't.
yeah,
Don't
so
see why
what
they
would that
wouldn't.
sentence have been? I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he prefaced it, unfortunately, with a slightly sort of declamatory. He said, let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously people who were analysing this, as if they would need to, but they suggested that you would not make a mistake after a statement like, let me just say this.
Yeah, but at the end of this thing, he said, anyway, that's cleared that up now.
Yeah.
It was a great, so let's move on.
He's very good at clearing things up, I think.
I thought it was the somewhat brilliant
I
about
felt
it.
Yeah.
for him. He's had a tough time. He actually said, I've been to Helsinki and back.
Oh, fantastic. I like the double negative thing sort of fits him because it's the office joker. He's a
Yeah.
big fan. You know, like Dave Swift
Yeah.
from Sales will say stuff like, wouldn't say no. You know, when
Yeah,
wouldn't say no. And the other one is, you're not wrong. So it all kind of fits with that.
Frank, he should have just said, I forgot to say not at the end.
Yeah.
Because you can get away
Not.
with anything. Yeah. He should have said, I was
That would be
reviewing a
good.
copy of Friends.
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
I just think that's more believable.
Very good.
It's quite a big difference, I think. I mean, if
The mistake, yeah, what the would and wouldn't.
if Ronnie Wood, if he'd been,
When someone tweeted this week, and it was, what sort of a world are we leaving for Keith Richards? I enjoyed that enormously.
but,
Yeah, go on.
but if Ronnie Wood had been called Ronnie Wouldn't,
Yeah.
wouldn't we have seen him in a whole different light? We wouldn't have seen him as that crazy rock and roll wild man.
Yeah.
We'd see him as a more reticent, conservative figure.
Yeah.
It's quite a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Dr. No, he was a negative bloke. Very negative. I met him once.
He meant
Was he?
Dr. Yes, though, that guy.
I had lunch once with Danny DeVito,
Oh, yeah.
and he quashed all my questions.
Very good. Like it. I like it.
I was prepared to wait. I don't
like
mind.
it.
I don't mind dead air. I'll
I
wait.
waited. It took me I searched about 6 seconds. But then
It's
when
a
it
long
hit,
time.
it landed well.
But it just means that anything. So anything you say on here. When I got Didier Deschamps' name, I
So how did you wriggle
have
out of that
said-
one?
I could have said. Well, I mean, I suppose I did misspoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant.
I meant to say Didier
I
Deschamps.
did
said Marcel
misspoke.
Deschamps. Yeah.
I did misspoke. It's wonderful.
I did misspeak.
We'll do our own work on that.
I did
Am I the
misspoke.
first person to misspeak on misspoke?
Slightly Chaucerian.
Where does it end? I've gone through the.
Helsinki, I think.
Wait, do you know the song The Wild Rover? I've been a wild rover for many a year.
No.
Okay. It's got a quadruple negative.
Oh, wow.
And it's no, nay, never.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do know
Is that
that.
quadruple or triple? No, nay, never, no more.
No, never.
Quadruple. Come
No,
on!
never, no more. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's fallen away, this. I think I must have misjoked.
What, this link?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Mirrors that don't steam up in hotel bathrooms. How
I've
do they
never
do
seen.
that?
I've never
I've
seen.
never
Do
come
that.
across one of those when I'm in front of one.
Amazing.
Do they exist? Mirrors
Yeah.
that don't steam up?
Yeah, you have a hot shower and you get out and the mirror's just clear. It's
I've
amazing.
never seen that in my life.
Well, you need to improve
Do you
your
know
But
what that
then
is?
again, I don't really notice mirrors like you do.
Yeah, I'm very vain. Everyone knows it about me.
Extraordinary shade thrown. Also, let's be honest, Al. He spends so long in that shower, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
prisoner. This guy-
Prisoner. I've been listening to the Prisoner audios again this
Oh,
week.
how are you
Yeah,
finding
I get
it?
about, oh God, it
It's
really
great, isn't it?
I find myself talking to people like this, which they don't like.
That's a great impression that
I
everyone
don't
does.
mind it. I enjoy
Number
it.
one in The Prisoner. Number two, I apologise.
Saying number what?
Yeah.
Saying
Actually-
what?
doing
prisoner.
the prisoner impression.
Number
yeah.
6.
Oh, number 6 is him.
Yeah.
042
Yeah, but number
has
2 is-
Oh, sorry, 040. I don't remember that character.
042 has suggested an impression that we all do is the Churchill dog. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
See, there you go.
Oh, yes.
No, he's
Alan?
much more.
Alan, you haven't done your one.
Oh, yes.
See,
I think
much
Frank's
more
might be the better.
much more positive than Dr. No, that dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I put off him a bit when he seemed to be having a relationship with Melanie Sykes.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to think that was all right.
What
I
happened
remember
to the
that
girl on the
troubling
Was it a
you.
bit of a Nicole Kidman and Meerkat?
It was.
At the
look, I got
cinema.
nothing, you know, I don't know
was
where.
troubled by that.
I've got nothing against on basis interspecies relationships. But
A bit.
you
Extraordinary
can't help
admission.
thinking it's a bulldog and Melanie Sykes. And it's a bit like when I see Donald Trump with Melania. He did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a bulldog. I mean,
Suggesting the bulldog did well.
had it been
Yeah.
a
Beauty and the
Saluki
Beast.
or something,
Yeah.
you'd have thought, well, fair enough. Actually, Donald Trump's got something of the Saluki about him. Backcombed.
Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't forgive him for leading Melanie Sykes astray.
Yeah.
The bulldog, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Strange, no?
I don't know if you saw the late night version of that advert. It was
Oh.
absolutely disgusting. So,
It's on the internet for anybody
I
that
think
missed it.
I did misspoke.
Yes. Is that what the British cyclists say when they get pulled up for taking various sprays and stuff? I misspoke.
Yes.
Oh,
Good.
Lovely.
I'm glad it is.
Lovely cycling material.
Yeah.
So, look, I think we've gone out with a bit of a whimper rather than a bang.
Do you
but,
think?
you know, but you know
Don't
what?
ruin it by saying that.
But
I don't think so.
it's really that I just did my catchphrase. Thank you so much for listening this week and for listening all the time. But thanks, we love you, and be seeing you.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.